Henry here from IFE. So I'm going to do a string of videos explaining a few of the options you have as an expat, go through a few of the platforms, a few of the funds, and also going to have a range of videos getting a few guest speakers on that represent the companies or the funds to explain them in a bit more detail as well. I'm going to give my spin in a series of videos. Today I've been asked quite a lot of times what are the options as an expat in regards to savings. Quite a few want to just put into pensions, so I'm going to go over a few of my personal options in that, and we'll do a few lump sums and also UK pensions in videos to follow. So first today I'll touch on Investors Trust, particularly the product of the Evolution one. Now, as with all the savings plans, it's not the cheapest, it's not liquid, it does have particular uses. For example, a client that just wanted to have a pension, he was putting in a bit of his salary into a pension in the Netherlands. He now wants to do that, he's moved to Cyprus, he just wants to continue with that pension and just doesn't want to think about it, not worried about the charges on that. So it works with them. Also had another one looking to put into an education plan, but do be wary, this is a mid to long term savings plan. It's not cheap, it is very liquid, so make sure you're understanding what you're getting into and speak to this with an advisor prior. As I've said in a lot of the blogs, a lot of the videos, normally the best way to get into this is to have a 10 to 15 year one max. A lot more completion rate in this than 20, even 25 years. I think that's way too long personally for that. So with that in mind, let's go through a few of the charges and about Investors Trust. Now, Investors Trust is a company based in the Cayman Islands. It has jurisdictions in Malaysia and Puerto Rico as well, Labuan. It's rated A-, and for the Evolution you do have three currency options, so USD, Euros, GDP. Minimum contribution is $100 a month or equivalent, £100, 100 euros. So it's quite low cost. So a lot of these normally looking at the higher end, this is particularly low cost. Now, investment terms go from 5 years, but as we'll go over later, it's more applicable to do the 10 years because of the charging structure that they work on. Now, what are the charges? If you go on their website, we'll put a link to that below in the video. It is quite clear and transparent about the charges. So from years 1 to 10, it is 1.9%, and then after that it's 0.35 again. It kind of rewards a longer time period that I'm not too keen on, but for those looking at a 15-year period, potentially it could be of use if you're looking for an education plan or something like that as an expat, especially if you use the portability of it as well. On top of those fees, you have a $7 US dollars, euros, or £4 and 50p British pounds policy fee, a structure fee of 0.125 balance, and that's the fee. So you can see there, obviously, it the longer term you have, it does reward it with lower fees with 0.35% from years 11 to whenever, and also you do have free transfer with funds. Now this is where you can make up your money, so this is where it can be useful for a lot of people and also be not so useful for a lot of people as well, because the extra allocations, now they reward you for putting in like a lot of these savings plans. They have offshore. This is the one for how much extra allocations they give you for amount. So if you're putting in 100 a month, they give you 100%. If you're putting in 150, they give you 101%, right up to the maximum amount. So if you're putting 1,500 in a month, they're going to give you 5% extra allocations. So it's just a kind of bonus to obviously incentivize you to go more. Also loyalty bonus they give you an extra 7.5% contributions from year 1 to 10 and 5% from 11 to 15. So actually if you add this up and you think, well, okay, I just want to put money aside, it can work out significantly cheaper over a 15-year term plan if you're doing, say, $1,000 a month or like that, because again, it's not the most cheapest of plan. You do have some liquidity. Liquidity, like with all of these plans, is not too much. You will have to wait for the initial period, usually 18 months, depending on the term of the plan, of when you can make free withdrawals as well. So, what are my opinions of this? I think it's still not the cheapest, obviously, of options, as you can see from the pricing. The fund selection that Investors Trust have is reasonable. I think it's the only one that I know that has index funds. So, for example, I've actually got one of these plans. I just like to put a bit in each month, and literally have a simple plan with Morgan Stanley Global Opportunity. And it just works out easy and efficient with that. So it's got passive investors with iShares. Also, it's got big brands with Morgan Stanley, Franklin Templeton, PIMCO for the bonds as well. So it's got a reasonable enough fund range in US dollars, GDP, and euros as well to make a portfolio if you needed to. As well with those, it's not a complete open architecture, but it's enough to have to make a good enough portfolio. And again, it's got index trackers with it. My thoughts on it: if you are looking for a savings plan, as an expat, it's one of the reasonable ones out there. The S&P plan that we'll go on to next, another video, has won a number of awards for that. But I'll say why I prefer this is because if you're going into an S&P, you're using that dollar cost averaging, you're using that compound interest to really accumulate it. Although you get fixed returns with the S&P, it works out higher cost. And if you actually know the history of just putting into an S&P, past performance says that it will do 8.64%. Obviously, it's got no reflection on future performance, but it'll be hard not to make money if you're putting in over a medium term using dollar cost averaging in the S&P 500. I don't think it's needed. So that's my thoughts. I think it does have a use. Obviously, if you're an investor, you need to be aware of the charges, the illiquidity of it, and think of other options as well. Maybe if you've got a lump sum, it may be worth just putting into an investment platform that work out significantly cheaper for you than putting it into a savings plan. But a lot of people that use this to get the most out of it, the people that just want to kind of put money away without thinking about it each month, just takes it out of the bank account, and it's normally the lower term. So if you do have any comments or want to know more, feel free to get in touch. Happy to go over any of these in these videos in a bit more detail for you. Thanks guys, cheers, bye.